Alright, let's go. The title of the story is Anne is Lost. Thanks to Creepypasta Wiki for providing this magnanimous shit. It was a peaceful night for Tom, and he was ready to sleep.
I gotta go grab a towel.
He felt a cold breeze wind, his arm, breeze wind. And breeze is spelled B-R-E-E-Z. So breeze wind. That's the name of his elf OC. His fucking first. He looked at the window. It was barely closed. Then he looks at his bedroom door. There's a girl staring at him, something that he's unused to all day, and slowly walks towards him. He starts to get nervous and said, Who are you? A girl ignored what Tom said, not this one. It literally says, a girl ignored what Tom said.
A girl disregarded him.
I really love the camera. It's the best idea game.
There was another girl in the room that she's just not mentioned for the rest of the story.
No, fuck that girl. That girl's a bitch.
Remember me, ? Remember my body you abused, ? The girl said. Tom started to panic and intended to escape, but his bedroom door locked itself. Therefore, his seeming plan, if you will. I don't deserve this, but why did you do this to me? A girl asked. Answering her own question.
What?
Tom screamed at a moment, then Tom screamed at a moment in time, because in this part of the canon, time is free-flowing, so he screamed at a moment in time, but not this moment in time, you see.
Holy shit.
The deep canon. Then his parents ran through his room. They saw Tom dismembered and full of blood on the floor. They managed to preserve...
Oh my god.
All the blood stayed within his body due to modern science. Then they saw a bloody footprint. They followed it, but they shocked themselves with that. The footprint stopped. It's really not that funny. It's more kind of sad, really.
It's really sad for this bad story.
Annie is a typical schoolgirl. She's kind, genius, and nice person. All typical schoolgirl traits, I think. All the girls envy her at the most...
like Detroit slut.
All the girls envy her at her most beautiful face and long shiny black hair. How they don't notice her there is a mystery. During school break, they always saw her reading books. At canteen.
Oh, fucking nerd.
At canteen or in library. At that day, she encountered the most famous guys named Clancy and Tom, whom Clancy has a big crush on her.
Guys.
I feel like we don't even fucking need to make any jokes, because it's really just speaking for itself. The most famous guys named Clancy and Tom. All you need to know is that they're the most famous guys. The three are getting a long time. Then Clancy started to date Annie in a formal way, which means no shirt, no shoes, no service. Since Clancy has respect for Annie, Annie always hanged up with Clancy or Tom. Since her schoolmates are shocked that Annie began... It literally says shocked. Shuttlecocked that Annie began befriend with the two famous guys in their entire school. Then in the school corridor, Annie met Ellie, Clancy's ex-girlfriend. Ellie fakely befriends to Annie, but she has a plan to take Clancy back to her. Several days ago... Fuck's sake, time is free-flowing in this story. Time and grammar are two non-constants.
I can die like in any second.
Yeah.
I could shit in any second, and anywhere I want.
Yep. Annie's parents began to worry at Annie. They began to worry in the past tense. Because she's always late at home, her grades have failed, and she didn't even talk much about them, even though she's apparently a genius. Annie's mother heard Annie crying in her bedroom. Annie, what's going on? Her mother said to Annie, "Get out, Mum, I need to be alone." ! Annie shouted to her Pokemon on her bedroom. Her mum started to shocked of what she heard, and she began to talk to her husband about what's really happened to their daughter. On the next morning, her mum called for breakfast. Then Annie came out her room. She didn't talk at all. Her cheerful face was gone. She began walking through school and didn't take a bus. She didn't steal a bus, till she encounters Tom. "Hey, would you mind if I came along?" Tom said to Annie. Annie didn't speak at all. So they both start to walk to school. That was the end of the story right there. I'm just adding on. She didn't speak at all. The story doesn't progress. Then a car parked.
They walked to school.
Then a car parked on their front, on the front of their legs, on the front of their entire bodies, apparently. And it was Clancy with Ellie on the car, telling to get inside. And he told Ellie that ghost riding was a crime. Both Tom and Annie, with Clancy and Ellie, drove through the school, right through it, killing millions. Annie staring at a window of the car, gasping at sunlight on her face when she saw their school, but Clancy continues to drive straight. Tom begins to smoke weed and shares with Clancy and Ellie. 420 spook it. Tom asks Annie to take some weeds. You see, it's not actually marijuana weeds, it's weed of the car. But Annie declined of Tom's wish. They parked in Ellie's house, and Annie got nervous about this. "Should we go back?" Annie said to them. "The heck no!"
You can break my heart, but you can't break my sweat.
"The heck no," Tom replied. He's reminding him of the ancient doctrine, the heck no. Ellie, Clancy, and Tom walking through the house. Weren't they at school? "Hey, what are you doing? Come on," Clancy calls Annie. She slowly walks inside the house. Tom left behind the door and secretly locked it without any notice. Fuck me. Ellie prepares to get something to drink. So she makes a soda. She pours a sleeping serum in one glass for Annie. Actually, this evil super genius. "I have prepared my sleeping serum." As they planned to kidnap her, the four talk to each other while Ellie's staring at Annie while she's drinking. A moment later, Annie's...
This is one sad story. I mean, it's a good transition from a house to a fucking school thing.
A moment later, Annie suffers from the headache, and began to sleep. So she sleep on the sofa with Tom beside her. Clancy left and goes upstairs while Tom began to strip himself and panning to touch Annie. But Ellie told Tom that it wasn't part of the plan. The plan is to kidnap her and torture her, like every normal teenager. Tom gets mad and gets the pistol in his pants and points it to Ellie, if you know what I mean. Clancy hears that Ellie and Tom are arguing, so she interferes them. The mad Ellie left them and goes to the dining room. The calm one stays behind. There she saw a kid.
What happened to that girl in that one room?
Don't fucking talk to me about this. Then she saw a kitchen knife and gets it. That was a necessary sentence. Clancy and Tom began to argue if they didn't touch Annie or not. Tom wants to rape her in the past, but Clancy are not. It's more of a regret thing, you see, and it's not a part of a plan. It's not a part of a plan. Not the plan, it's just not a part of any plan, really. Ellie is thinking, and he suggests that Tom will rape Annie if Clancy is dead, so Ellie slowly walking to Clancy's back and began to stab him repeatedly, stabbing through time and space. Tom shocked himself. "What the fuck are you doing?" Ellie said to Tom. "I'll kill him so you're gonna rape that bitch." This is 10 out of 10. Hours later, Annie's parents began to worry that she's not home yet. So her father began to report at the police that Annie is missing. So the police began searching for Annie. Annie wakes up in a steel bed with chains tied to her with blood in her legs. Well, as normal. Don't you just hate it when you have blood in the veins of your legs, really? She began to scream for help, but annoyed Ellie came to that room, the calm ones guarding the door, and started to beat her.
Wait, I'm sorry. Repeat
But
that
annoyed
sentence.
Ellie came to that room, and started to beat her.
Oh, I thought you said comes on that
The
room.
calm one stayed and guarded the door.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't say but an annoyed Ellie or anything, they just say annoyed Ellie. So it's like she's separate entities, you see. And started to beat her. Tom began to annoy Ellie by her screams, so she began to knock Ellie first. Yep. Tom released Annie from chains and gives her a glass of water and asking for forgiveness, and Ellie has a plan for this. Annie saw a trash bag that deformed her body. That's a killer fucking trash bag. You better watch out for that shit.
I found a picture that resembles every rapist in this story. There you go.
Who's that? Annie refers to a deformed body in a trash bag. It was Clancy. Ellie kills him in the future. Annie began to fall her tears as she heard what? She began to voluntarily fall her tears.
What?
And intermission to look at this picture.
I made that with all my love and heart and semen.
I can definitely see the semen.
Put me so much effort.
Tom goes to the room where Ellie is unconscious. He gets the wood axe and began to dismember her, and began to escape through the window. Tom finally finished and he saw Annie is not there, so he began to search to Annie. Annie struggled her legs and began to run away. She falls from a pig trap and began to cry. Then suddenly Tom saw her in a trap. Shh, don't worry, you don't deserve this. And Tom began to dismember Annie at that night. The next morning, Annie is nowhere to be found, together with Ellie and Clancy. Tom moved from his parents somewhere far away from them, and that night Tom's parents found him dead. His body was dismembered. They follow a bloody footprint, but it stopped from the wall. Jesus fucking Christ. That's amazing.
Wow.
I'm way too scared.
I really like that story. It made me shit all
There's
over.
one comment.
Like
There's one comment from Akita Muffin that says "R.I.P. English." This is actually a story about the death of English, murder to the English language.
Was this maybe like by a bunch of French people?
I just realized something.
Yep.
It's a social commentary, right? It's a commentary, right? On public school system. Get it? See?
Annie with my goat.